It should. Okay, we are live.
Okay, we're live. What's up, everybody? Josh and Ken, weekend update here on CNA. Justin is not with us tonight. He is at his girlfriend's parents because it was his birthday recently.
Tomorrow.
Okay, sorry.
Birthday's tomorrow.
And they are cooking dinner for him. So,
which is really sweet.
It is.
And we support every bit of that.
Yep. So, we've actually got, for the first in a long time, a lot of DC news coming to you.
So a lot of news here, period. Man.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good show. We got a lot to say.
We do, but we're not going to start with that yet because we want to tell you what Ken and I did today. Mm-hmm. And we were both very tired because it's been a long day, but it was a very enjoyable day. Ken?
No homo.
What? I didn't even set that one up.
No, man, we did the Stranger Things experience today. And this is so worth your time. It's in Atlanta. We're in Birmingham, so it's a 2-hour drive for us. But it took us most of a day. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were there. The show itself, or the experience itself, was about 45 minutes. But then at the end of the show, there's a place you can kind of land. And we spent another 2 hours there probably. So it's ending soon. But this is one of those traveling immersive experience, like exhibit show kind of things. It was one of the coolest things I've done in a while, man. It was like going to Universal Studios.
It was. It reminded me, both of us, a lot of that. Where you go in and, it wasn't a ride. We walked around, but we participated in it. It's interactive. You're with a group of people doing stuff. The special effects were amazing. I mean,
all this amazing.
The production values were just through the roof.
Right.
We're talking 3D, what's the term when it's actually real effects, like the smoke and the explosions and things like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Practical effects.
Uh-huh.
They had tons of stuff. The actors who were working it were really good and committed to it. And it was awesome. It really was.
So awesome. And it was an original Stranger Things story. Had the actors in it that we all care and love. We all love.
Not in person, but they were there and communicating with us through video screens and cameras and things like that. Right. And it just it was them doing it, so it was wonderful.
If you've ever done the Harry Potter experience at Universal Studios, it reminded me of that a lot. A lot of love went into this thing, man. It's so cool. I think there's a week left to do this. I wish I'd done it earlier so I could sing its praises more. But it's in Atlanta. It's leaving soon. Tickets are $50-ish a piece. A little cheaper for kids.
It's a little expensive stuff.
But holy shit, it was so awesome.
Should we tell them where you land just to give them an idea?
The best part is where you land. For me, it was cool. So you go through the show. And you leave the show and you think things are over, and then you walk down the hallway and holy shit, where are you?
Starcourt Mall.
Starcourt Mall. The mall from the fucking movie, and you're suddenly in the 1980s mall.
Oh yeah.
And it was food court. I mean, there was probably a dozen stores.
Yeah.
Food that. You can buy food. You can go to Scoops Away ice cream.
And you want to talk about copying Scoops Away perfectly. That one, I think, was the best of all of them. They had the employees were wearing the suits. There were other actors out there conversing with the crowd, dancing with them, having fun.
Right.
It felt like walking into a mall in the 1980s.
Yeah, it felt like walking into this show that we all love.
Yeah, they had the giant mezzanine in the center of Starcourt Mall, and they had stuff that wasn't in Starcourt Mall, like the video store in there with all the 80s movies. They had the arcade, and they were stores basically. You could buy different types of stuff there, and it was just really cool.
It's up to date because Surfer Boy Pizza was also
there.
And you could buy pizza at Surfer Boy Pizza.
Ken and I bought a whole pizza, even though we were not that hungry, just so Ken could get the box.
Because it was like Surfer Boy Pizza box.
It was very cool.
Anyway, can't sing the praises enough for the Stranger Things experience. You're running out of time to see one. I think there's a couple of these around the country. This one in Atlanta ends in a week. But if you get a chance, freaking go.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
We did it for my 16-year-old's birthday. And she took a friend, and they were beside themselves.
Yeah, Ken and I were talking about that today. The age group of his daughter and other people that love Stranger Things, because there is a very young genre that love this, have no frame of reference for the 80s. Whereas, people mine and kid and older's age are like, I remember this.
Right. We lived Stranger Things. You were on your bike was the ticket to the world.
Yep.
It wasn't a smartphone. It was a freaking bike. Just anyways, the video stores, all the things,
the arcades. Oh man,
the 80s, and we all know it was a magical time because it was.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
It was. So anyway, Stranger Things, the experience. Drive to it. Worth your time.
Yeah.
Okay, man. You ready to dive into?
Yeah,
DC?
we've got a lot of DC, so we're gonna try and go a little bit in depth, but we don't know a whole lot. But we're gonna make what we think it might be about knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so let's just hit them.
All right,
we're gonna start with the movies we got coming out first.
Chapter 1 of the DC, James Gunn and Peter
Safran. I don't know.
Straub. I thought it was Straub.
I don't know.
Anyway, okay.
Peter and James.
Yes, Peter.
Petey and Jimmy.
Jim and Pete. Their new DC universe, the first chapter, they're entitling it "Gods and Monsters," which is that's DC right
Yeah.
now. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. There were so many haters. There's mostly love, but there's a lot of people that like things the way they used to be. Save the Snyderverse. Shut the fuck up.
This is not this Snyderverse.
Shut up, man. It's dead, y'all. Everybody's aged out, and it was doomed anyway. We all enjoyed it. The Snyder Cut.
Mm-hmm.
We were there. I ate crow for the Snyder.
Oh yeah,
Cut.
same here. 100%.
I enjoyed it, but it's over, y'all. We've got to reboot, and there's a mess, and James Gunn's going to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with movies. Okay, we got a movie slate. So the biggie, I think the biggest one, the cornerstone of this is going to be the new Superman movie.
Yeah,
take it, buddy.
It's what Superman Legacy. It's going to be a very young Superman.
Mm-hmm.
What, are mid-20s?
Yeah,
he's a reporter at the Daily Planet.
Mm-hmm.
He has not exposed himself as Superman yet. However, in this world, superheroes already exist.
Mm-hmm.
Batman is well established, and there are rumors that parts of the Bat family also already exist in this world.
That's right.
And this one, Ken believes it's going to follow that Gunn is hinting towards a certain comic story.
He has, because he's made it obvious. He's shown pictures of him drinking coffee and reading All-Star Superman, which is great. That's great news, because Grant Morrison wrote a Superman story, which is it's the one I think about when I think about Superman. And you can actually, there's an animated movie based off of this series on HBO Max. It's called Superman, All-Star Superman. And that's what James Gunn's been reading and teasing that he's going to use, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
Superman is a hard character.
He is.
Every writer says Superman is difficult.
Because, when you have the most powerful man on earth with the most zero vulnerabilities, that's hard to write for. What are real threats to Superman? So it's a difficult one.
Yeah. So anyway, that's good news for me.
Yeah.
This is all good news to me. James Gunn I'm a fan. I've been a fan for years. So that leads us from Superman leads us into The Brave and the Bold, which is the Batman movie. Let me make this clear. This is the DC Universe Batman, not the Elseworlds Batman, which is where Robert Pattinson and Reeves Batman is going.
We'll get into that after we finish this.
Right. So that's still going to happen. It's in pre-production. It comes out in a few years. So that's not gone. It's just going to be an Elseworlds Batman. Don't have a problem with that, because that's what they do in the comics.
Yeah.
DC's always done that. So The Brave and the Bold, the new Batman flick. This is interesting, the take he's doing. This is a established Batman. Batman's been around.
I think this might be the first Batman movie where we don't see his parents get shot.
We don't need it.
We don't.
We don't need it. We don't need to see Uncle Ben get killed again.
No.
We don't need to see Batman's parents get shot again.
It's just at this point, everybody in the world knows how Batman became Batman.
Yeah, and this is focusing around Damian Wayne, which is the latest Robin, the youngest Robin. So Batman's already gone through the other Robins.
Yeah.
We could go through the list. Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Batgirl even. What's the other one? The techie guy. He came Red Robin.
Oh God, he's my favorite. How can I forget him?
It'll come to you in a minute.
Yes.
Anyway, so he's already got these established characters. I think probably Robin is probably Nightwing by now, obviously, because Damian Wayne is going to be the new Robin. But the rumor is that he's going to be introduced to his son.
Mhm.
And if you've ever read those comics, they're really good, by the way. Batman is drugged and tricked into having sex with Talia al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul's daughter, and he finds out years later that he has a son.
Mhm.
Well, here's a problem with that son. Damian Wayne has been raised by the League of Assassins
Yeah.
for like 12 years before.
Fully believes in their cause.
Yes, he's a killer, man. That dude, he is a rough kid. But there's enough of Bruce Wayne in him to where I think Batman's can rein him in, but that's part of the struggle.
Yeah, and that was a large part of the comics, is Batman trying to kind of give him a moral center in a way. Because in the beginning, he just wanted to kill.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which is tough. If you don't learn empathy early, I mean, you just don't. But anyways, that's an interesting take. I'm excited about that.
Mhm.
I like the idea of Batman already being a legend. He's already been established. He's already here.
Yeah.
They can do a lot with that.
Mhm.
But anyway, so
let's skip over that one and go ahead with this one since we're talking.
That's fair. That's fair. And also Supergirl. We're getting a Supergirl, and I'm glad we're getting a Supergirl. It's unfortunate what happened to the Supergirl movie that we're never going to see.
Mhm.
You want to expand on that a little bit?
Don't you mean the Batwoman movie that we're never going to see?
Sorry about that. We're talking. Yeah, I lost my mind. Anyway, this Supergirl movie is Women of Tomorrow. Is it World of Tomorrow? It's World of Tomorrow.
This is Woman of Tomorrow.
Woman of Tomorrow. It is an interesting take on Supergirl. Kara grew up on a chunk of Krypton that broke away from when Krypton exploded. She didn't get the upbringing that Superman did. She didn't land in Kansas and had a wholesome family and a wholesome parent, wholesome rising. She grew up in a chaotic world with death, apocalypse. I mean, it's like it's a different scenario. So imagine Supergirl growing up on this. I think it's an interesting take, and I'm glad they're doing this.
It's going to make her a lot more survivalist, kind of, in a way, because her growth was a lot more difficult than Superman's.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, that right there, you can use that as, conflict between them. That she may see him as soft, and weak.
Yeah.
And so it's always, because that is one of Superman's kind of abilities, is to show people the faults in their ways, to show them empathy and try and understand where they're coming from.
Right.
So I think it'll be interesting if they run that take with her.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting contrast, basically what you said. So, yeah, that's really cool. Really cool.
The last movie we've got up is our first monsters in the title, Gods and Monsters. We've got Swamp Thing coming back to the big screen, which I think is interesting because you wouldn't think Swamp Thing would be one of the ones getting the movie.
Right.
You would assume a series like they did before.
Yeah.
But, I've always loved Swamp Thing as a character. How deep they go into it was with his connection to the green and all that sort of thing. But I think they're going to go that way. Gunn sees the perspectives of the supernatural and that kind of stuff. And what's also really good about Swamp Thing is who was the director in early talks?
Big rumor is James Mangold is going to be the director. And I think that's almost kind of confirmed because James Mangold tweeted a picture of Swamp Thing. And James Gunn shared it.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
yeah, that kind of says it all.
Yeah. So anyway, if you don't know who that is, he directed Logan, which is an R-rated Wolverine movie. So also one of my favorite westerns of all time, 3:10 to Yuma.
Oh, such a good one.
With Russell Crowe and Kristen Bell. It's a great western, by the way. So James, I mean, he's done some cool stuff. So the fact that he's signed on to DC, that's great. But we did forget one that you need to talk about.
Oh my God, I completely overlooked that one, and I really shouldn't have.
This is cool.
The Authority, which was a Warren Ellis created superhero team, but not your typical superhero team.
Not at all.
They
were way ahead of their time.
They did not take shit. They openly killed. They were, in some cases, queer, anarchist, polygamous, sexual deviants. They kind of ran the gamut of everything, but they were cool as shit.
Like I remember, this was like one of the early openly gay characters too, as well.
Yeah, the Midnighter and Apollo. One is kind of like a Batman character, fights at night using fight tech is what's implanted in him, and Apollo, who's kind of like a Superman character who absorbs power from the sun and uses that, can fly and has super strength. Originally, they weren't in DC, is why they're so similar.
Mm-hmm.
And DC bought the rights to them and have brought them in.
They bought Wildstorm Studios.
Yeah, and I mean, they have done some cool stuff with the Authority.
Mm-hmm.
If the Authority does well, I'm really hoping they'll start using more Wildstorm characters because they're so interesting and have so much potential.
Yeah.
The last run of Wildcats, or Wildstorm as it was called, pulled them all into one comic series, and it was brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so pumped that they're doing this. Just, if for nothing else, can we see a heroin addicted semi-deity being known as the Doctor running around doing shit? Not the Doctor from the BBC. This guy's a way different Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Anyway, really cool. I never read The Authority until he recommended it. Then I read it. So I'm a fan too. Not as big as him. But that is a edgy choice. That's really interesting.
Yeah, and Gunn seems to like to do that. Take these teams that people hadn't really heard of and make them shine. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy are one of those popular teams in the world now.
Nobody knew who that was before James Gunn got his hands on it. And I read the comic. I read the one that most of the series is based on, Rocket Raccoon, Groot, and Drax, and all that. But he made it his own, really. So it was a big risk. Mm-hmm. Anyway, ready to get to TV shows?
Let's jump into
these
TV shows now.
And this all is a coherent universe, by the way.
Yes.
So all this is going to wind together the same way Marvel does. So they're creating a cinematic universe with an architect, which they've needed for a decade.
They have. Yeah.
So TV shows. I think probably the most important, not my favorite, but the most important is going to be the Waller Show.
Yeah.
Because, Angela, what's her name?
God,
she was in.
Why do I not remember her name?
We're terrible, y'all.
Sorry, it's been one of those.
Amanda Waller.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, Amanda Waller, I think, is important because she's going to tie in Peacemaker to this world, and they're using the same actress. And I mean, Suicide Squad, all these things. So it's really strange, but also kind of awesome.
Yeah. And I think, like you say, I think Waller is going to be representative of the government's reactions to the rise of superheroes and supervillains. And we'll see her at the forefront, working behind the scenes, trying to not really work with them, but keep them contained as best they can. And in the worst case scenario, like always, take them out. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what Waller is going to be about.
It's interesting. It's really cool. Really cool. So, and I'm assuming Waller will tie into all the rest of this.
Yeah.
So the Lanterns.
This I'm excited about if they're still going with the same idea they originally had for the Lanterns, which was an episodic series where each episode focused on a different lantern in the universe. And I thought that is a great idea. You get a look at these different lanterns, you see their different styles, and hopefully you see that they're basically like space cops. They're superhero-esque and do all this stuff, but their job is to prevent crime in their sector. And that's what their role is.
Yeah. They've pretty much said it's going to be Hal Stewart and Jon Stewart. So I don't know if they're going to work together or if they're going to counter back.
If that's what it's going to be, they're not going with the episodic thing, which I was really excited about. But
They still could.
Yeah, I know. It's just Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart aren't my favorite lanterns, but they're introducing them, starting them off. That's a good way to go.
There's some really cool lanterns. I mean,
there are. I mean, for God's sakes, there's a blind Green Lantern, which is one of the most interesting things in the world.
What about the squirrel?
Yes. What is his name?
It's some kind of typical squirrel name.
If you go down the rabbit hole of the lanterns, you run into some strange stuff.
Yeah, so that we brought up Peacemaker a minute ago. So where does that leave Peacemaker?
We don't know. There hasn't been a confirmation that Peacemaker is coming back for a second season.
I think it is.
We all assume it is because it was hugely popular. It was Gunn's baby to begin with, so we all assume it's coming back.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just go with it is.
That's just not me being in denial saying I need it to come back. I just think it will.
Yeah.
I just think it is. They created something there.
I agree with you. I think it's a great team.
But that's an easy segue into Creature Commandos.
Yes.
Because Creature Commandos is the confirmed animated series.
Okay.
So it's going to be animated, but James Gunn's already wrote this.
Yeah.
I think they hired James Gunn a lot earlier than they told us. Clearly, they
Just
did.
had him working on stuff before
he's,
it all went
they
through.
signed this deal probably a couple years ago. I mean,
Yeah.
he's been working on stuff. He's writing Superman now. Will most likely direct Superman. But Creature Commandos is another kind of risky move. It's kind of an unknown.
It's they're comparable to Suicide Squad. Not exactly the same role, but they originally, and I think the idea is still the same. They were soldiers from during World War II who through scientific experiments were changed into like your kind of classic Hammer monsters. There's Frankenstein's monster. There's a wolf man. There's a creature from the Black Lagoon. There's a vampire. Medusa is one of them. I mean,
There's a guy who's like a flaming skeleton.
yes, you know, it's kind of, you can think of it from those kind of old school horror movies. They've probably been one of the Creature Commandos at the time. And Weasel was once a member of the Creature Commandos. So let's see if he comes back.
He's there. He was in the artwork, so Weasel's there. Since he's already there, we got him and Waller. So I feel like it's an easy transition.
Yeah, it might be. She
that
works
situation. So I don't know a lot about Booster Gold. He's
Uh,
a fan favorite.
he's an interesting character because he is from the future, is what it is, and is a thief who stole all his Booster Gold technology from a future corporation, traveled back in time to try and be a famous superhero. And that's his entire goal.
Right.
He's an arrogant kind of douchebag. He wants the fame and the fortune. He doesn't really care about helping people, but that's the quickest way he sees that he can get it. If they go with our traditional Booster Gold.
I mean, I'm assuming they do.
Yeah.
But the thing about Booster Gold is he's always kind of teamed up with Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
But the Ernie Rice Blue Beetle is still happening.
Mhm.
That movie's still going ahead too. I don't know if they're gonna let him Elseworlds tale, or they're gonna like tie it into Booster Gold.
Yeah, he has always teamed up with the Ted Cord Blue Beetle, and we haven't heard a hair of anything about that.
I don't think we're gonna get Ted Cord unless he's mentioned as part of the story as like a past Blue Beetle,
a throwback or something.
Yeah, so I just don't think we're gonna get that at all. So let's move to the next one if you're ready.
Yeah. Okay.
I think out of this TV show list, I'm most excited about this one.
Really?
Because I feel like it's finally going to be done right. Paradise Lost is one I'm kind of excited about because if it's done right, I think it could be so awesome. Also, it takes place on Themyscira.
Yeah. And that's kind of all we know about it, right?
That's right.
We don't really, we have wild thoughts, but other than that, we don't really know anything about it.
Fantasies. I mean, thoughts.
Dude, there's no men on the island.
Right.
Oh my God, I'm not even touching that one.
Anyway, this is the Isle of the Amazons, the hidden island where all women, and this is where Wonder Woman is created and born. So I'm assuming it's going to be a Wonder Woman origin story.
Yeah,
which is what I want.
That's one of the famous characters. We still haven't seen her origin story. So interestingly enough, everybody else have been done to death. Hers still haven't seen it in the movie universe.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you could, if you want to count the Patty Jenkins movie.
Well, she was already there and born. We didn't see the form from clay and all that thing. Right. We literally just had
Daughter of Zeus now. I mean, they've changed that. They've retconned that. Yeah. But I mean, I think we're going to get the Amazons interacting with the gods and creating the Greek gods and the creating that environment. But ultimately, what I want is a Wonder Woman origin story, given the proper due. Like, given the time, the effort, Wonder Woman's a badass. She's a badass. We got pieces of that in the Snyder verse, in the Patty Jenkins verse. But I mean, hopefully that's what we get. So I'm excited about Paradise Lost.
And I for one volunteer for Death by Snoo Snoo. So moving on.
Let's we've already talked about James Mangold. Everything outside of DCU will be labeled Elseworlds, the things that are already happening.
That's what we talked about.
They say that the big news is that The Flash is still happening, even though the problems with the head actor. But The Flash is also, James Gunn's excited about it.
He says it's one of an almost perfect movie is what he claims. Right. And supposedly, I think they're going to try and stick with Ezra Miller because he's come out and made statements that he's in rehab, he's getting mental health treatment, that he's working towards getting back to being the person that they hired.
For that, but didn't we do that when he was on video choking a woman? I don't know if we should do it.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm just, will be what? Shame on me?
Yeah, it's just
shame on you.
kinda-
I mean,
if it's that good a movie, they're gonna try to keep him around, maybe.
yeah, it's one of those things. They canceled Batgirl and something else. I mean, anyway, they've restructured everything and they've lost millions and millions of dollars
Yeah.
at this point. They had to pay all these actors, even though they're not going to ever release that movie.
Yeah.
Which is a good segue into Peter Safran saying Batgirl was not releasable.
Yeah, and which was a pretty rare statement for Gunn and Safran coming in, because usually you'll have the former heads of the company saying, yeah, unreleasable, it was terrible, we couldn't do it. And the new guys don't talk about anything in the past. They're just like, nope, we're not doing that. But for him to come out as a co-CEO and just flat out say it was unreleasable is a big statement.
Yeah.
I mean, that's bold from him.
So they're thinking they had, normally before they do a final cut of a movie, they've got hours and hours of footage, and you can cut it and turn it into a movie.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, we could do anything with this shit.
So it's just, and that's a shame. And this is one of those movies that's never going to be like Snyderverse, though. They legally cannot release it at all, or they'll have to pay back the tax break they took for it.
Mm-hmm.
So short of somebody hacking or stealing a copy of it, we're never seeing it.
Which those things tend to happen.
They sometimes do, but I don't. Is it worth like going to jail for us to see the Batgirl movie?
No, not especially if it was this bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like it was Catwoman bad.
Yeah.
Halle Berry Catwoman bad. I mean, I don't know. It sounds like it. A lot of people are bitching about this situation, but this is the best case scenario for all of us. And in 5 years from now, we're all going to be happy about this.
Yeah.
And that's my prediction, because you finally got the right asses in the right seats.
Hopefully.
Because it's just been such a mess for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Last two things for DC, man. Right away, I'm going to go ahead and handle this, and then we'll wrap up the other one.
Okay.
Gunn says the Guardians of the Galaxy cast, he likes to work with actors he's worked with before.
Yeah.
And I understand that. If I'm doing a job and I can rely on these people, I know what to expect from them. They show up, they do what they're expected.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a good chance James Gunn said he will work with the same actors again. And he's typically done that.
Yeah. Since the start of his career, he's done that.
He's worked with nearly everything he's done. Michael Rooker's been in.
Yeah. Since
I'm
he
a
was
fan.
since he was making, that horror movie Slither that was
Right.
independent,
Right.
he's used those actors over and over
Right,
again throughout his career.
Right. So I completely freaking understand that.
Yeah.
And I'm content with that, because, we're talking about Zoe Saldana.
Yeah.
We're talking about Vin Diesel, Chris Pratt, and anyway, we don't have to go down that line, but there's a good chance we're going to see all these again.
Yeah. And, that's exciting because these are good actors who've shown they can do good work, so find them the right role and let's see what happens.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. We all win, regardless of how
Yeah.
you feel about this universe. And, Chris Pratt, he got it. Yeah. Shut up.
Here's the thing
up,
is,
man. God.
We have made fun of DC a whole lot over the years, but they deserved it. We weren't punching down. This was a multi-billion-dollar corporation just fucking shit up over and over again.
Said.
And we always said we want them to do well.
They need a Kevin Feige. Guess what? You got it.
So just step back and let the man do his business. And there's one thing that I forgot to write down. Jason Momoa is in rumors to be playing a new character in the DC, and everyone wants it to be Lobo.
Same.
Everyone.
He looks like Lobo.
Yeah, already. Dude needs to be our main man, stat.
Right.
That's just it.
Even though Aquaman 2 is still in pre-production, apparently, James Gunn even mentioned it. It's like, what you doing, guys?
Yeah, that was a little weird that they haven't, maybe there's contractual issues where they have to go through with it. Maybe that's going to be the first Elseworlds movie that they put out.
Right.
So we'll see.
But Jason Momoa can't keep his mouth shut.
No.
He cannot.
No.
He could not. He said,
He's DC's Tom Holland.
He hit Twitter and he was like, just had a visit with James Gunn and Peter Stroud, and y'all just don't know what's coming. And everybody's like, that's all we get.
Yeah.
It's like, anyway, Y'all better watch that guy. He can't keep his mouth shut,
At least he's
man.
not giving stuff away. He's just, the Flavor Flav of the DC universe. Getting that hype up.
That's right. So anyway, we'll end DC news with two things. One, I'm not sad about. The other one, you're going to be sad about.
So
Which
sad.
they're canceling Titans, which I haven't even watched the last. I didn't finish the last
Yeah, I'm
season
pretty sure you
or
did
this
finish the last
season. This
season.
season I didn't even touch because it was so dumb. But share your opinion if it's different.
No, it's. I haven't kept watching. I watched the first couple
bad.
of
It's just really bad, man.
Yeah.
But Doom Patrol's canceled as well.
Which kills me. It is so, and I think they're canceling it just because they're trying to clean the world up with all this stuff. Because Doom Patrol is always good. It's always weird.
Really
It's
strange.
always wacky. And I love
It
it.
makes no sense.
It makes perfect sense. If you've read some obscure philosophers, understand niche artists, and maybe some, slight psychosis. Blah, blah.
What he just said.
But yeah, so I'm very sad about that. But I think Doom Patrol is just getting caught in the clean sweep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it's sad if you're a fan. So anyway, that's all DC news. Any
That's all we got.
parting words?
I'm excited. This is the first time in a while I've been excited about
yeah,
DC.
absolutely.
And, we're on board. And we're sorry Justin's not here tonight because he's our DC guy.
That's right.
You want to talk about somebody hyping DC up. Him and Jason Momoa would give each other a run for their money.
Right.
I mean, for real.
Right. So you missed tonight, Justin. This was
Yes.
your moment, buddy. We're sorry, but
We still went ahead and did it without you.
we all kind of have an echo chamber here when it comes to this situation. I think so. I think you would echo what we say. Let's move to Marvel.
There's not a whole lot of Marvel news to talk about.
We do have a Marvel movie this month, though.
We do. We have the big one coming out. The first in which phase are we on now? Is this phase 5?
Yes.
Phase 5. Ant-Man and Quantumania.
Right.
So.
And they're hyping this up like this is a big deal.
Mhm.
Now we know Kang is the next big bad, and he's all over the trailers.
Yes.
And Kang is a complicated character, so I like the direction we're going with the Loki show and the crossover and such. But they keep hyping Ant-Man and Quantumania as such a big deal. It's such a stepping stone to like the next 5 years of Marvel. This whole entire phase. The after credit scene is supposed to be something mind blowing.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer what it is because I don't want to know as well because I don't want it to be freaking ruined because we're going in on like 10 days to watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't screw it up for me. But Quantumania seems to be a big deal.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. They're going with Ant-Man as such a big, foundational block in this next phase because Paul Rudd's Ant-Man has always kind of been, not B-list, but he's the comic relief. He's there, and he helps out, but it's always kind of, they used him to block everybody and sacrificed him. And he went to jail for a while, and then, so he's never really. And he has shined. I love the Ant-Man movies. Don't get me wrong, but he's never been that main person in the whole world.
He kind of has been B-list. I mean, this is kind of for me, it's some of my least favorite Marvel movies. It just has been. The last two Ant-Man, they're just not my thing. But anyways, can't wait.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
You
We'll
know,
be there. It's like 11 days from now.
we're excited about those stingers afterwards. Ken, I know that you're hoping for one of them. What's that going to be?
Well, when you get Kang has a interesting, awesome relationship with Doctor Doom in the comic books. They're like one and the same. They're competitive. They're always together. They're always working together, but at the same time plotting against each other. So for 5 years, I've been trying to.
Yeah.
We're getting Doctor Doom soon. We know it's coming because the Fantastic Four is coming. So, I mean, why not? I mean, the rumor was that he was going to be in Wakanda Forever, and then before that, he was going to be in this. Anyway, so for me, you can't really have Kang without Doctor Doom.
Yeah. I'm hoping for something related to X-Men or just mutants in general. I don't think we're going to get that, though. I think it's too soon for them to start putting stuff out. I do have a question, actually. With this Kang and Quantumania, do you think we're going to see multiple versions of Kang?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
All right.
I do. Because, I mean, that was pretty much laid out in the Loki show,
Yeah.
which is very important for Ant-Man. If you haven't seen the first season of Loki, go watch it because it sets up Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Because Kang's in it, and you need to understand who Kang is, and that kind of helps you. Kang is a multi-dimensional, multiversal
Chronological.
being. There are infinite amounts of Kangs, and every one of them are different. I know that's convoluted as hell.
And every one of them wants to rule everything. Is part of the problem as well.
Right. Well, he who remains was not that guy.
No, he
So-
saw the problem and wiped it out. And go watch Loki. That'll the one true timeline. It gets a little timey-wimey, but
And there's a
you'll
lot
get
of
it.
Kangs. There's a lot of Kangs that are important characters. Like
Yeah.
one of the Iron Lad in Young Avengers is a Kang.
Yeah, and we know
Period.
we know Young Avengers is coming.
Yeah.
At
It's
some
already
point.
set up, man.
Yeah, we've got.
Cassie Lane's all over this movie too,
Yes.
who is Stature in the comic books.
Yeah,
So that as well.
we'll see what happens.
Right. So Ant-Man and the Quantumania. We're going to be there. We'll be there opening night.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Big rumor for Marvel is that one of the villains, and this for me, this sounds like kind of like the Wreckers were in She-Hulk,
Mhm.
but the Serpent Society. We're supposed to get that introduction soon.
Yeah, supposedly Captain America, New World Order, they were actually going to be used in a past Marvel movie and just kind of got pushed to the side. But yeah, it does kind of sound like, first mission for, our Sam as our new Captain America, we're taking care of the Serpent Society.
Yeah, they're going to be hard to take serious.
Yeah, and they're not comical, but they wear costumes to make them look like walking snakes, and that's kind of their gimmick.
They have snake powers.
Yeah.
Which could be a way to tie them into Hydra. Because we know Hydra is resurfacing.
Yeah.
Will resurface. So maybe that's it.
I don't know. I think it might be a little too corny for that. Like literally
Yeah.
Hydra's making serpent creatures.
Snake people.
Yeah, it's a little too on the nose.
Yeah, a little too G.I. Joe's.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
A little
yes.
too Cobra Law. That's an old school reference for some of you people. Anyway, let's move on, buddy.
Yeah.
So big tease is that Chloe Bennett, is that her name?
Chloe Bennett.
She plays Quake in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show.
Mhm.
She has been on Twitter,
Yes.
like messing with people.
Yeah, talk, and this could be just her messing with people, but there supposedly are rumors that she's coming to the main MCU as Quake.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll use the character from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
or they'll have her be a completely new version of Quake. If this is true, I really hope we get Coulson back. I missed him so much in all these MCU movies.
Yeah, I mean that's true. He was kind of the heart and soul for a while.
He
a very
was.
important part of Phase 1. So don't hate it. I just, they kind of became somebody else in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series.
Yeah, it really did. It became a show
It was
completely.
like
on
multiple
its own.
Coulsons at one time, or like a future Coulson, or an amnesia
Yeah.
Coulson. It got
Yeah,
really
I can walk you
weird.
through all of it, but
No,
it's
thank you. It's not
yeah.
worth my time. No offense, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. suck. But
That's every single episode.
the next big news is Galactus is coming. Boom, boom, boom. Big rumors that Galactus is going to be set up very, very soon and be a big bad for multiple phases in the future. Like it's supposed to be encompassing. It's not just going to be, hey, Thanos is here, he wraps up the Infinity Saga. No, Galactus is a problem, an ongoing problem,
Yeah.
which is big enough for that
Yeah. Yeah, certainly.
physically as well. But
I think with Fantastic Four coming down the line, Galactus has always been one of their problems. We've got, we're going more cosmic as we get further in the future.
Right.
With the Kree and the Skrulls and the Secret Invasion and all of that. So certainly Galactus is going to be something that comes. And if we've got Galactus, we're going to have a Herald. There's just no doubt about that. So we'll see, we assume it's going to be the Silver Surfer. Might not be.
what if it's Cosmic Ghost Rider?
That's who we really want it to be, but it's not going to be.
If you don't know Cosmic Ghost Rider's story, it's something interesting. Bless you, Donny Cates. You blessed Marvel with your weird ass idea of making the Punisher go insane, become a Ghost Rider, then meet Galactus and become a Ghost Rider Herald of Galactus. Yeah, that's real, and it's in the comics, and it's awesome. So,
Oh, and at one point, he kidnaps baby Thanos and keeps him strapped to the front of his bike like a weird paternal figure.
it's such a weird ass, awesome comic book. So, check those out, man. So those are worth your time. So there's a lot. Galactus has done a lot. He's been through a lot. He's connected to Thor.
Mm-hmm.
He's connected to Fantastic Four, Cosmic in general. So now he's connected to Ghost Rider too, which there's no mention of Ghost Rider, but I want Ghost Rider to be done right.
Yeah, I do too.
I need it and want it. So anyway, not much Marvel news. That's kind of all of it there.
Yeah, we've got some rumors, but there's really nothing hard pressed. I'm sure they're waiting for Quantumania before they start releasing more stuff.
That's right. That's right. Which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Cannot wait. 10 days away. 11 days away. So
12 days away.
Some days away. We are keeping up with The Last of Us.
Yes, like
And-
a lot of people.
And I mean, with a good reason. It's good.
Yeah, it's so
Really
good. Pedro Pascal, the girl whose name I can never remember, I really got to remember that, they're absolutely killing it. And this last episode, of course, threw up a lot of fervor because of what it was about. A lot of people didn't like it, but those of us who didn't care.
What year do these people live in? Whatever.
Probably like my former grandfather's age. I don't know.
Get the hell out of here. So, anyway, it was just such a well-written episode. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
It only kind of sort of advanced the story.
Yeah, it was very standalone.
Mm-hmm. It was very standalone, but it was so good. I ain't mad.
Yeah.
Because it was good.
No.
So,
I mean, and the showrunner said that their goal was to make the show stay true to the story, but where they wanted to expand was where things could be expanded, such in this case, because in the game, you meet Bill, who's the crazy survivalist, just like he's portrayed. He has an entire town booby-trapped. He's been keeping stuff for years, and there's a reference to his partner, Frank, who died. And the showrunners decided to take that little tidbit and just run with it, do a whole episode of two men falling in love in the apocalypse. And it was beautiful. I mean, it really was. Nick Offerman is always amazing, and it just, it showed.
kind of typecast at this point.
I don't know,
It's
man.
like,
Yeah.
He is this don't tread on me guy.
Yeah.
This is who he is now.
I mean, he really is that in real life, though. He could, just build you a canoe if you wanted one. For God's sake.
Carve it out of a log.
Yeah, he really could. He is this crazy good woodworker, and it was kind of heart in the darkness of this tragedy, and the ending was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think it had a lot of impact on Joel's character when he read that letter. We're not going to spoil anything for you if you haven't seen it yet, but you should go watch it.
I don't know. I think I'd do different. I'd be different if I was Joel and Ellie. I would have set up shop.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think I would have gotten the S10 and no
Headed out.
spoilers. Headed out. I would have been like, yeah, we live here now.
this is home.
We have everything, including awesome, crazy fire booby traps and electric fences. And that's where I stay. Anyway, Last of Us is awesome and worth your time. It's freaking terrifying because it's zombies set in there's some kind of facts there.
Yeah.
On the mushrooms and all that. I mean, the fungus and such. But yeah, watch Last of Us. It's awesome. There's another episode tonight. We haven't watched it yet.
No.
We're going to probably watch it after this show. So that's kind of it, man.
Yeah.
Other than that, at the end of this month, we're going to be at another con.
Yeah, Pensacon. That's one of our regulars that we go down to every year.
Yes. One of our favorites.
Yeah, it's always enjoyable. So if you're at Pensacon, come say hey to us.
Mhm.
We're not going to have a table this year, though.
Nope.
So if you spot us walking around, I'll just be me. Him and Justin are going to be dressed up as well as Justin's girlfriend. They're going all out with the cosplay.
We are. New costumes this year.
Mhm.
We'll kind of bring them to you later. Working on them now, but big times. We'll be there for panels. Panels are in a new place this year, but we always have a good showing and a good time. Pensacon is an outstanding comic con, so come see us. Keep up with CNA. We keep up with you. We keep you informed on everything. So everybody stay safe.
Yeah.
Any parting thoughts?
Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on wherever these things stream. Leave comments. Tell us what you think. Always, let us know. But in the words of Justin, it's a great time to be a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Excelsior.
Right. Except you Snyderverse people. Don't come around. Bye.